Welcome to Big Val Opinion. Moderators, with my permission, any negativity in the chat should be hidden from this channel. This channel is a negativity-free channel, drama-free channel, and we are here to push the message out. We will not be distracted. So with my permission, any negativity in the chat should be hidden from this channel. Welcome to Big Val Opinion Platform.
And I just really want people to know, I appreciate anybody that's helping me. I appreciate anybody that's helping me. A lot of people have been there for me. I just don't want people going back and forth, being mad at each other because one person did this for me and another person did that for me. That's what the devil wants. He wants to cause confusion. That's what these people want. They want to cause confusion. And confusion ain't gonna do nothing but keep me in here. But the real thing is.
Yo. What it do? It's your boy Big Val Opinion, back with another live video. Hey, hope everybody having a great day. If you all can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. If you all can hear me nice, you all can hear me clear, put a 1 in the chat. Yes, Lord, thank God. Thank God. What up, Miss Lady T? What's up? Hey, child, what's going on? I'm not here. I don't plan to be here too long. Have y'all got around to seeing the Michael movie? Cunning, what's going on? Have y'all got around to seeing the Michael movie? That's what we're gonna talk about tonight. We're gonna talk about the Michael Jackson film. And what was your thoughts on it? What did you take from it? I mean, I took a lot of different. I took a few different things from it. You know, it answered some questions. It answered some questions that I was curious about. It gave kind of like an understanding to certain things that a lot of people, may have questioned why certain things were the way that they were. But overall, like I say, it was okay. I'm more of a documentary type person. I mean, I like documentaries that's like detailed, in depth. Even what up, Stephanie? Even before I went and watched the Michael film in the movie theater, I Amazon Prime, they have a Michael, they have something on there about Michael as well. A few short films on there. So I watched those films on Amazon Prime before I went to the theater to watch the Michael Jackson film. To kind of give context, trying to, look at what they're saying here versus what they're saying in the movie. The movie, like I say, man, it was all right. Seemed like it may be it appeared that it may be another film. I mean, the man legacy. Let's talk about that. The man legacy, his career, his legacy is too huge to put inside like an hour and a half or 2 hour film. You know what I'm saying? It's impossible to put what he was able to accomplish into a hour and a half, 2 hour film. With so much that he went through, like he could really have he could really have a series of films. He could have a series of films. Hey, child, I heard it. I mean, the way that it went off, I mean, they didn't even get into the movie, didn't get into it didn't really get into a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to say I commend the writers. I'm not sure who wrote the film, but I commend them because most time when we see films like this, you know, they most time when we see films like this, man, they show our people in a bad light. You know what I'm saying? They show our people in a bad light, you know. So for whoever wrote this, like I say, I commend them because I mean they didn't put a lot of the negativity, a lot of negativity wasn't into this film, and it kind of focused on Michael Jackson, the person. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, that was a good sign for me. You know what I'm saying? Because most time, you know how they do our people, especially our black, entertainers. You know what I'm saying? They drag us and tear us down so much. And then they'll tell you they putting out a film, and then you go watch the film, and the film is just full of so much negativity. So to go to the theater and see this movie with Michael was like, you know, and to see that the movie wasn't full of like all the accusations and negativity that surrounded Mike, that kind of made me feel good. That right there. Yes. Okay, that was his nephew. Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, that was a good it was a good film. You know, I gotta give, you know, kudos to whoever wrote it. You know what I'm saying? And the way that they just focused on the celebration of Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? And not a lot of the negativity that surrounded him. You know, so I'm gonna just get into what I'm gonna come with today. Where is that?
You're confident. You're strong. You're beautiful. You're the greatest of all time.
Let me tell you something. In this life, you're either a winner or you're a loser. Y'all want to work in a steel mill like me for the rest of your days?
No, sir.
Yeah, because I sure as hell don't. Y'all willing to fight for it?
Yes, sir.
I need to hear you a little louder. Y'all willing to fight for it?
Yes, sir.
Ready whenever you are, Michael.
Do you know what I'm after?
You want to be the biggest star in the world?
We need to capitalize on Michael's success. Because the Jackson family is the brand. That's our Coca-Cola. And we need to start selling. So I'm planning an international tour. This is just the beginning.
I need to think.
I told you what to think.
I love my family. I just want to do my own thing. Just have all these ideas in my head. Just got to get them out.
Then do it, Michael. Not a little boy anymore.
showed me, be careful what you do. Michael, I knew you were different the moment you were born. You have a very special life. And Mother always showed me, be careful who you love. I believe music could change the world. When the love becomes a joy. Bitter cheese, not my love. Spread love, bitter cheese, joy, not my love, and peace. That is what I want the world to feel. Magic.
Yeah, man. So that was a little preview of the film. One of the first things that I noticed in the film, though, one of the first things I noticed is that in the now people, now I'm always say this, and I gotta keep it real. I gotta keep it real. You know what I'm saying? I gotta keep it real, because if I don't keep it real, then that wouldn't be me. You know, a lot of us in the black community, we talked about Michael's nose. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people talk about his nose. Look at his nose. Why are you doing that to his nose? Why this, that, and with his nose? What I discovered from watching the film is that he became the way he became because as a kid, his dad would insult him about him having a big nose. The dad would insult him, you know what I'm saying? And he would just, say things to him, always saying stuff about his nose big. Oh, you got a big nose. Get in line, you big nose. He always referenced his nose as a kid. The dad did. What I do want to say is that about the film is that in this film, it says a lot. It shows you a lot about how you can mentally, damage your child, and you can do it not even knowing that you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? You can do it not even knowing that you're doing it. A lot of the things that happened to Mike as a kid that was done by his father and said by his father, a lot of that turned out to be the thing that motivated Michael to go out and not be. It made him not be. To me, and it's just my opinion, from a lot of the things that his dad would say to him and the way that his dad treated him, it made him dislike himself, which led to him starting to have the different types of, cosmetic surgeries because of the things that his daddy would say to him. And he didn't say it, according to the film, he would only say these things to Mike. He would whoop him. Like, he treated Mike the worst out of all of the kids, in my opinion. But now we just gonna start from the beginning, from what I feel like with Mike, what led to Mike becoming who. What up, Courtney? What I feel like, this is just my opinion, what I feel what led to Mike becoming who he became. Part of, not gonna say all of, but just part of, in my opinion. His dad, when Mike was young, the dad would insult him all the time, talk about his nose, always talk about him having a big nose, this big nose, that, this, that, and the third. So Mike, he had to deal with it. As a kid, he dealt with it. Mike would get whoopings all the time. Man, that's crazy. Mike would get whoopings all the time as a kid, And it was so crazy because Mike Mama used to want to protect him, from Joe, but then at the same time, she would have to deal with Joe as well. So it was a fucked up situation, in my opinion. But then, but I noticed something about Mike through the movie. Mike wasn't the kid that was outside. He never was outside. When Mike wasn't singing and dancing, he was reading Peter Pan. He was reading Peter Pan. Now listen to that, this, man, I'm telling you, it was so crazy how everything makes sense now. All he did was sing, dance, and read Peter Pan. They showed the book. The name of the book was Neverland. The character, Peter Pan, is who, in my opinion, in the end of Mike's career, he had fixed himself as Peter Pan. To me, that's just my opinion. If you look at the on the book that you look at the character, you see the film, you will see it. You see the character that's on this book that he's reading, Peter Pan Neverland. I promise you, I'm like, what the hell? Like, it's almost, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. I don't like bringing Kels up in these, because we talking about Mike now, but I gotta speak on the situation with Kels because the Michael Jackson Neverland narrative, how people took that and made it out to be something about children and him taking advantage of kids. Neverland had nothing to do with him taking advantage of children. It's almost like when Kels called himself the Pied Piper. People would rather run with the negative narratives that fits their mindset versus understanding why does these guys reflect or relate to these particular characters. Nobody never asked the question, why did Rob reflect himself as the Pied Piper? But they only ran with the narrative of, oh, he do that because he liked children. They only run with the negativity of it. When they say, when Michael Jackson built Neverland, this Neverland, man, the movie tells you, it shows you, Neverland was built based off of the books that Mike used to read. Mike read these books as a child, the Peter Pan books, and the name of the Peter Pan books was Neverland. So what Mike did when he became wealthy was he built his own Neverland. He created his own Neverland. The man had an imagination that was way beyond his time. His imagination was way beyond his time. He also said something. He also made a statement, about his mindset. And he didn't about not wanting to grow up. He made a statement about not wanting to grow up because he felt like if his mind would have matured, he wouldn't have been able to make the music that he was able to make. And I said to myself, I said, what? I say, all of this it's starting to make sense now. But what up, Lex? But as a kid, hearing people talk about Mike the way that they talked about him, like you would think that this guy was just like a monster. You would think that this guy just like, you know what I'm saying? But to understand this man and understand his reasons for doing and being the way that he was, like it really speaks volumes to who he was and how he was able to accomplish so much. How he was able to accomplish so much in his life. The man, even though he became older, he never got to live his childhood. And what he did when he became famous enough, rich enough, he went back and he bought his childhood to him. Pretty much what he did. And I asked myself when I heard him speaking about he didn't not wanting to be grown because he didn't want to lose the mindset or the creativity part of his mindset, if when he matured. And I asked myself, I'm like, man, this dude, Mike, when we talk about as being a creator, these guys, man, I'm sitting here and I'm like, no wonder why Mike and Kels had so much, like why they was seemed like they just clicked like automatically, like they just was, one and the same. Because those guys, those are the few guys that have the type of ability to create and do what it is that they do as a musician, like the talent, like, bro, it's crazy how these guys are so, when it comes to creativity, how they were so much alike. On the creative side. But at the same time, you got people out here, everything's a joke. To most people, everything's a joke. You know what I'm saying? But for me, like I say, I watched the Amazon Prime documentary, and they kind of gave me insight on like a little bit. So when I go and watch the film in the movies, that right there kind of like, because I'm in the movie now that I done watched it. Now I'm watching to see what's going on. But I'm then I want to dive a little deeper though, because it was a point in the film when Mike, he wanted to separate, but Joe, the father, like he wanted to, he wanted to keep Mike under his wing like forever. But Mike had got to that point to where he was ready to separate and do his own thing. I'm gonna say this because my break will be over with, but I'm gonna come back on here. Now, I'm gonna ask this question. I'm gonna leave this question tonight when I come back on live tonight. I'm gonna see if we can have this discussion, and I'm gonna ask this question to the people that's in the chat now. In the film, Mike did not. I'm gonna say this. Mike did not want to do that tour with the Jackson 5. Mike did not want to do the tour with the Jackson 5. Joe begged Mike. He begged Mike. See, Mike, he didn't want to do it, but he still, because of Joe, he still felt like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, because my dad asked me, like he's begging me, all right, well, then I'll do it type. But Mike did not want to do that tour with the Jackson 5. And on tour with the Jackson 5, while on tour with the Jackson 5, that's when Mike's hair caught on fire. In Mike, and then they show like Mike was on one part of the stage, and the directors came and said, we need you to go up. We need you to move up, like closer to the lighting. And when he got closer to the lighting, they did the little explosion, whatever the shit on the stage. Boom. Mike hair catches on fire. Not only he's dealing with the skin condition that he has, now he got to deal with his scalp and all this. And just imagine the thoughts that could have been going through his head, because he did not want to go on tour with Joe and his brothers at all. He was against it, but they kept coming at him. And he finally gave in. Then the accident happened. I know the type of person I am. If somebody is begging me to do something that I don't want to do, then I finally get around, and then they finally convince me to doing it, and then boom, something bad happened to me. Man, I will most definitely have resentment, because this shit just, if it really happened that way that they showed in the film, that Mike didn't, they showed that he did not want to be a part of that tour with the Jackson 5 no more. His daddy kept on begging. So Mike was the type of person he would give in. He gave in and said, okay, just this one last time. Then boom, look what happened to him. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We can't predict what's going to happen. But in that situation, man, it was just bad timing. And then that led to like Mike having to be on the pain medications and different things. Like Mike's whole life changed after that Pepsi concert. So later on tonight, man, we're gonna go back live. I'm finna end this live right here. And it's right at 30 minutes. So I'm about to end this live. Then we're gonna come back later and we're gonna finish talking about it. So with that being said, peace, respect to everybody. Catch y'all later on when we back on here, okay? Peace out.